What if I told you the reason most people stay middle class is not because they don't earn enough, it's because they're afraid of debt. And the reason the rich keep getting richer is because they master it. Sounds dangerous? Good. Because today we're breaking one of the biggest financial myths ever told. Debt is bad. No, bad debt is bad. But strategic debt builds empires. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at debt the same way again. From childhood, we're taught avoid loans, pay everything in cash, stay away from credit cards. Debt destroys lives. And yes, for most people it does. But here's the difference. The middle class uses debt to consume. The rich use debt to acquire assets. That's the entire game. Same tool, different intention. Let me explain. Bad debt. Car loans for status, credit card debt for lifestyle. EMI for depreciating gadgets, personal loans for vacations. That kind of debt drains your future income. Now here's what the rich do instead. They borrow to buy real estate that produces rent, businesses that generate cash flow, assets that appreciate over time. Quick question. If you borrow $100,000 and it makes you $15,000 per year, is that debt or is that leverage? Pause and think. That one shift changes everything. Leverage means using other people's money to increase your returns. Imagine two people. Person A saves $50,000 and buys a small property. Person B puts $50,000 as a down payment on a $250,000 property using a mortgage. Now both properties rise 10% in value. Person A makes $5,000. Person B makes $25,000. Same market, different strategy. That's leverage. And rich people understand this deeply. They don't avoid debt, they control it. But here's the dangerous part. Leverage can multiply wealth, but it can also multiply stupidity. And that's where most people fail. Most people are afraid of debt, but fear often hides opportunity. Think about this. Banks don't hate debt. Corporations don't hate debt, governments don't hate debt, in fact, they depend on it. So why are individuals taught to fear it completely? Because without financial education, debt becomes a trap, and traps are expensive. But discipline turns debt into a weapon. Let's be honest, if debt was always evil, why would billionaires have it? Do you really think they forgot to pay it off? Trust me, they didn't forget. They're using it strategically. Rich individuals follow 3 core rules. 1. They borrow for assets, not liabilities. 2. They ensure cash flow covers the debt. 3. They keep liquidity for safety. Example, a real estate investor buys a rental property. Rent equals $2,000 per month. Mortgage equals $1,500 per month. That's $500 positive cash flow. Over time, tenant pays off the loan, property appreciates, rents increase. In 20 years, the asset is fully owned. That's wealth built using debt. Now here's the real power move. They don't sell the property, they refinance it and use that equity to buy another asset. That's how portfolios expand, quietly, systematically. But let's be very clear, debt without discipline is financial suicide. If you have unstable income, no emergency fund, no financial knowledge, emotional spending habits, debt will destroy you. Leverage magnifies whatever you are. If you're smart, it multiplies intelligence. If you're reckless, it multiplies mistakes. So the goal is not take more loans. The goal is build financial IQ first, then use debt carefully. Here's something most people don't realize. The rich don't focus on paying off low-interest debt quickly. They focus on increasing their asset base faster. Why? Because assets grow faster than inflation. And inflation quietly makes debt cheaper over time. That's a powerful concept most people never learn. And that's why financial education is everything. You don't need to be rich to think like the rich, but you must think differently to become rich. Debt is not the enemy. Ignorance is start small, invest in knowledge, build assets, control risk, use leverage wisely, and remember, the goal is not to look wealthy. The goal is to become financially free. First build, then multiply. If you want more breakdowns on how money actually works, subscribe to Build and Multiply. Because here, we don't chase trends, we build systems, and we multiply wealth.